Hey YouTube, and welcome to my Thinking Cap Tuesday. Yes, I'm wearing a Lala Loopsy hat. Don't judge me. If you want to know what's up with this hat, you need to check out my other channel, Susie Cusey. Anyway, uh, that's my shop video. Today, here in Memphis, we had an inclement weather thing, and they let the schools out early, and I guess the parents that needed to go get their kids, or whatever, left work early. By me, working for a government facility, I could leave work and there's no problem because I got leave, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about missing some pay. I don't necessarily have to worry about getting penalized or anything. But it's messed up as these streets in Memphis get. I think whenever the schools close, I think especially government jobs, people with government jobs need to be able to just go home, And if you work for somewhere else, if you work for McDonald's, if you gotta go get your kids out of school, you should be able to take off without penalty. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of jobs, they clown with their employees about taking off and stuff like that. But, man, please. People, they don't know how to take care of these streets. And I was thinking back to something that I went through about a year or two ago, as far as trying to get to work and stuff, riding these streets they call themselves putting salt and sand or something down on the streets, but it really don't do too much good, Anyway, I found this blog that I had wrote a couple of years ago about an experience that I had. I want to share it with you guys. And like I mentioned before, I said, I believe if schools are closed due to inclement weather, all government buildings should be closed, and employees of other businesses should be able to take off without penalty. The reason why I say this is because on Monday morning, which was, Monday morning 2 years ago, probably around this time of year, Memphis, Tennessee had 4 inches of snow on the ground, and parts of the neighboring state, Mississippi, had as much as 10 inches. Now that's a small amount, compared to other cities that get like 12 inches or more. But if you live in Memphis, you will see why, those few little inches was a big deal. We don't have snow plows and stuff. Fancy does like that are basically reserved for clearing the airport off. The trucks that go around town sprinkling solid sand on the ground do not have the money or manpower to cover every street. I mean, they'll cover like main streets, but what about the side streets? You got to go down the side streets to get to the main streets, and I realize they don't have enough people to do it. They don't have no trucks to do it. They don't have no money to pay no more people to do it. But I mean, you be about to slip and slide and kill yourself trying to get to the main street to even take advantage of the sand or salt. What makes traveling on the snow even worse is that most people in Memphis have no idea how to drive on the snow, which means there ends up being a lot of smashed up cars before the snow melts. And see, it didn't snow very much. It was mostly ice. We have a lot of ice storms. Uh, sometimes, like with the snow, it may snow before daylight, before, early in the morning, whatever. By the time noon hit, the snow may be gone. But if it's ice, um, let's just say ice, it starts sleeting or whatever in the morning, say around 7, 8 o'clock, it may melt a little bit, you know, after in the afternoon, but the temperature go down at night, everything that melted freezing right back up. You know what I'm saying? And that's terrible. Now, this last time we had this issue, I had to make the trek across town to my job, and just when I was no more than 2 blocks away, I started to slide on the ice. Apparently, I had encountered one of those spots that the Public Works Department hadn't gotten to. Now, I had called my job several times, hoping that the building was closed, but only after the 3rd time did it say that the building would be open for business until 10 a.m. Now, yeah. I saw no point in going back home for another hour after I had already dropped my son off, so I just took my time. I used the Senate route because, hey, I wasn't about to get on the overcrowded interstate and end up taking almost twice as long getting to work, plus running the risk of sliding off the road. Not cool. Because I didn't have to be at work. My official time to be at work was 8 o'clock. They gave us a 2-hour window. I was already on my way to work around, I'm guessing it was, because if I dropped him off, it was like 7:15, something like that. So I was already on my way to work. I wanted to go home and sit there and drink coffee and all that stuff, and then go to work. That didn't make no sense, because I didn't hear that on the radio until I was almost there. So I just kept going. Okay. The streets were pretty drivable, and there was a small number of cars on the road, but every once in a while, I ended up having a motorist trailing very close behind me, as if there wasn't 1 or 2 other lanes to drive in. I hate tailgaters, especially in that kind of weather. I found myself pulling over at least 3 times to keep from suffering a rear-end collision because some fool wanted to see how fast they could drive in the snow. I'm a chance taker in most aspects, but putting my life in jeopardy is not appealing to me in the least. And it's still not. When I finally made it through the security gate at my job, guess what? I saw maybe 20 cars as I drove around the building to my entrance. Now, this is a huge building, the size of a medium-sized college campus. The parking lot has never been completely full, but cars usually fill in at least 90% of the available spaces. But on this particular Monday, it must have been less than 9%. I was surprised to see someone sitting in my area when I walked down my aisle. He said that there was one other person there that was assigned to our department. Over the next hour, 3 other people showed up. I kept getting phone calls from my manager, who was at home with her grandkids, asking about reports. And once I had finally gotten over the shock of being in a virtual ghost town, I sat down and attempted to complete what I came to do. It didn't take long to realize that I wasn't going to be able to complete my reports because part of the information I needed was not available because the lady that did it was still at home in her cozy bed. I called my manager and told her that I had nothing to report, and she told me I could go home when I got ready. I left 20 minutes later after fussing at a few people that were there about all matters of foolishness. All matters of foolishness. And I said all that to say this. I'm sure Memphis may not be the only place that has a problem when it comes to making sure the streets are safe for drivers, but I just don't understand that when there are cities that have snow all the time, why they can't call somebody, call New York, or call Denver, Colorado, and ask them, look, what y'all do when it snow? What y'all, do y'all have ice storms or whatever? What do y'all do? How do y'all prepare? Can we borrow one of y'all trucks this season? Something, I mean, it's just foolish. I just don't understand. And we go through this every year. Every year. I mean, it wasn't even, I don't even think it was no interest or nothing. It's just the fact that everybody knows that once some ice hit the ground, you're going to have a hard time getting home. Because people can't drive, and the streets, all the streets are not covered with this salt and sand mixture that they put down. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know what to do. But that's all I had on my mind today. I just wanted to vent. Thanks for watching.